and a very warm welcome to my live. It's saying my live is starting, so let's just see. I'm just going to check comments. Yeah, hello, and a very warm welcome to my live. For those who don't know who I am, my name is Julie-Sian. What am I doing? I'm just copying and pasting the link. Sorry. Should we start again? Hello, my name is Julie-Sian. And I'm known as the Manifesting Mental Queen. I'm also the author of 2 books, Did You Make Your Bed? And Lunar Reflections. This is a book that connects you with the moon, the tarot, the phases of the moon, the tarot, and yeah, moon phases, the zodiac. I don't even know. I wrote the book. Yeah, shoes okay. Lunar Reflections, harnessing the power of the zodiac signs, moon phases, tarot and oracle cards for self-discovery. What a mouthful. Only I could come up with that long. I should have put it into ChatGPT and come up with the shorter version. But hey ho, one didn't. Okay, so I'm the author of that. I'm the creator of Reiki Teddy, the bear with a healing hug. And also I have my own cards, the Elemental Fairy Affirmation Cards by Julie-Sian. The title is Hello and Welcome, Fake Readers. Do you have an experience to share? I think we've all experienced a fake reader or a bad reader. Now it could be a card reader or a psychic or a medium. I go, my friends and I sometimes go, well, they go more often than me, to psychic medium shows. Now, if anyone does or doesn't know what a psychic medium show is where someone stands on platform. We call it platform. It's on the stage and they stand in front, but they are on stage, but sometimes it's just in a room. But so we call it a platform. So they're standing there. Hi. Oh, hello, Keanu Reeves. Thank you for joining me again. So nice of you. What's it like in Hollywood? What's it like in Hollywood? What's it like to rub shoulders with Tom Cruise and your other famous people? Not. So how do you spot someone fake? Well, I have an example here, Keanu Reeves. Or not. Or maybe you are. I don't know. We shall see. But how do you spot them? Well, I do go to some psychic mediums, and my friends say to me, why do you go when you channel yourself? Yes, I do channel. Occasionally, once in a blue moon. I do not publicise myself as a spiritual medium, because when people go for a medium show, hello Regina, how are you? I will do a card in a bit. I'm just chatting at the moment, waiting for people to join. You're welcome to tag some people in if you want to. Tag some people in. Have you ever had an experience with a bad reader or a psychic reader? Because I do go with my friends, because like I said, I do channel, but I don't sort of shout about it, because I find when people go to mediums, they go, I want to meet my mum. And if mum doesn't come through, oh, it's rubbish or whatever like this, and so on and so forth. And the thing is, when we are connecting with our loved ones, we have to remember that, you know, when you make a phone call and someone doesn't answer, and that's what happens. And sometimes we go to these shows or whatever, and we want to connect with our mum, and sometimes dad will come in. I'm definitely the real me. And I'm me. I mean, how can someone... We've got Keanu Reeves joined us again tonight. Who's real, him or me? I don't know. Whatever. What do you think? But I am definitely real. This is the real me. I mean, how can anyone fake this? How can anyone fake this? I don't know. But like I said, you can go to mediums, and there are some brilliant mediums out there. There are some superb mediums. There are some mediocre readers, and there are some shite ones out there. And sometimes it's the shite ones that put on the performance. And what they do, how can you tell someone who's real or not? Because I go to shows, and why do I go to them? Because I love to see how to do it or how not to do it. When I come away, my friend said, what do you think? I went, oh my God, or that was amazing, that was brilliant, etc., etc. But the thing is, when you go to these shows or you have a private one-to-one, people are expecting, you know, I want grandma to come through, and if grandma doesn't come through, you're either very disappointed or they come through with a message that you're not happy with. And if you're, say, person you want to connect with and they were not a nice person when they were alive, they're not going to be nice when they come back to you, are they? They're not going to be all fairy wings and glowing and I love you and no, because that's how you saw them, that's how they can come through. And like I said, when you make a phone call and when you're alive and kicking, and sometimes people don't answer your phone, it's because they're not in, and that's the same with spirit guides. And sometimes people are so set on proof. I remember I was out at, it was at a Skittles match. Yes, Skittles match. Not the ones you eat, but the Skittles where you throw a cheese at and the pins fall over. Well, in theory, if you hit this under one, they should all go. No. And I was somewhere and someone was saying, oh, you're the me, can you do some quick readings and stuff? And I said, well, I don't promise and I don't practice it. You know, I'm more of a card reader and I channel the spirits and things like that. And there's this one woman and she says, and she was there and she had her daughter was there, her very good friends, and her sister was there. So there was her mum, sister. There was a great big family there and things. And so, and she wanted to, I think it was her brother. And she said to me, you know, I want proof that my brother's here. And I said, well, you know, he's here, blah, blah, blah. And this is one of the reasons why, I mean, I know you shouldn't get this. This is one of the reasons why I stopped doing this, because of her. Because it was a lesson to me that, you know, no matter how much evidence you bring through, if they are fixated on something and you don't give them what they want, they will call you out, they will do this, that. So I said, well, I've got this guy with me, and I described him, and I didn't know who this woman is. No idea who this person was. Never met her before, never met any of her family before. It was complete, you know, I don't know. And so I described this guy, and someone said, oh, that's uncle, whatever, and it's your brother. And she was going, boom, 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 boom. And I was giving so much evidence, so much, you know, for this woman, and she was refusing everything. And everyone, all the other family members were saying, and they were saying, well, how did you know? And I was coming out with things that, you know, unless they knew about it. But she said no, because she said he gave me, she said, I didn't believe life after death, whatever. And he said to me, and this is, he says that he would give me a sentence or some words or something like that, that only if he was talking to a medium, say to me, if I said those words or whatever, it was proof. But she said, you haven't given me what he wants you to tell. And he was standing next to me, and I said, you know what, he's smiling and he's given, and he's saying, oh, you're so, and she goes, oh, you're just saying all these things. And there were things I was coming out with that, you know, there was absolutely no way, unless you actually physically knew the family. And she wasn't taking it. And I said to him, so I said, hang on a minute. So I turned to the spirit and I went, look, she's refusing to accept that. And he said, yeah, because she can be so stubborn. And I said, well, would you give me the sentence, all the words, the things? And I was saying this as if I was talking to him. And he went, no, because she's so stubborn and she's refusing that I've gone and blah, 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 and I'm not going to do it. So I said, okay. I said, unfortunately, he's not. So she said, you're an utter fake. And I went, well, that's fine. Just because I didn't give you that exact sentence or whatever it was you wanted. All the other, and everyone was saying, oh, you're being really silly. She's given so much evidence and she explained exactly, blah, 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 blah. She goes, no, you're a fake. And I went, okay, I'm a fake then. Thank you very much. And as I walked away, her brother said 3 words, and they were so weird and so unusual. It was like purple forest something or other. It was 3 words that were so unique, so unconnected with each other, so something, you know, there was no way that I would come up with, you know, that thing, it's the 3 odd words, you know, when you're finding somewhere, it goes, this pub is based on these 3 weird words. They were 3 really unrelated words, and he suddenly said them to me. So I turned around and go, oh, that's fine. I said, you know, it's your prerogative if you want to see me, you know, think I'm a fake medium, and that's fine. And I said, no matter what I say to you, and I said, I'm not here to convince you, whatever. However, I am just going to say these 3 words to you. And I said, and she looked at me and I said, and these 3 words are, and I gave her the 3 words. Oh my God, she turned white, nearly passed out on me. And I said, is there a problem? And I said, is there anything else you would like him to add to these 3 words? And she goes, oh, and I said, so I'm a fake, am I? And I said, the thing is, I can only give you the information and the knowledge or the whatever they want to say to you. And I said, you know, it's down to you if you think I'm a fake. And everyone else was going, oh my God, he was really here. Can we? And she was, and I said, I'm sorry, he's gone now. I said, you were so stubborn. And I said, and I'm sorry, I'm not going into this anymore. And everyone said, oh, can you do me? And I went, no, I'm sorry, I'm not going to do it anymore. Because this woman, she called me out. I gave her so much evidence. Everyone else was around was saying, you know, da 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 da, and I just turned around and I gave her what she wanted. But because I wasn't, because she was so fixated on this, my brother told me that when he passed, that the only way I would know that I'm having a message from him is that the medium would say these 3 words to me, and unless you give me those 3 words, whatever you're telling me is not the truth. And he gave her everything. He gave all the family, all the other messages and that. So I turned around and I said, that's it. I went, those are the 3. I said, and I just went, I've never seen anyone. I thought she was going to drop dead on me. I've never seen anyone go pale. She nearly passed out. And it was like, she went hyperventilating. And I went, and as I walked away, my skills team went, you handled that so well, Julie. And I nearly went, fuck you. You know, you got a free reading off me. But because she was so fixated on having these 3 words, so she said, you're fake. And I remember I went somewhere else and I was hosting, it was a Halloween event. We were doing some table tipping. And I did say to the host, it was done in a pub. I said, I do not want anyone who's been drinking. You know, when you do these things, you shouldn't be drinking, and you shouldn't be high or anything like this. And as soon as I met this girl, I said to the guys, and I went, I don't really want her here because she's drunk. And I said, you know, blah, blah, blah. And it's not safe. It's not safe for her to be wandering around down here drunk. And they kept taking her out and coming back, and they wanted to do the spirit board, and I said, yeah, we can do the spirit board, that's fine. So they said, how does it work? So I said, you put your finger on the planchette. So I put my finger on the planchette and I said, you hold it. So I got everyone else to do it, and she's going, oh, you know, I don't believe it. And I went, that's fine, would you like to leave because you're drunk and you're falling around and you're going to have an accident, it's a bit dark in here, there's things here, you've been asked to leave and stuff like that. And as I put my finger on the planchette, and everyone else said, what do we do? So I said, you know, you put your finger on the planchette, and I said, you don't channel and say you want to talk to someone. And I said, it will move. That's what I say quite half the time. People expect to hear what they want and they fix that. Exactly. And as I went to take my finger off, and I said, right, so I'm going to leave you all do it. I'm just standing back here. And as I took my finger off, I said, it's going to start moving. But as I took my finger off, it started moving. I wasn't on it. And she went, no, she's faked it. She's making it move. And I went, I'm not anywhere near it, girl. Oh, you're knocking the table. I was well away. I was like a foot away because they were all sitting around the table. I stepped away. All I'd done was like, you know, I was showing them how they put the fingertips on the planchette. And I said, and then asked the spirit to come. And I said, it will start to move. I removed my finger. They were asking, but this girl, she was insisting I was faking it. She said, you've got strings around, you're knocking the table. Again, I went, I'm sorry, you've got to leave, because I said, you're spoiling for everyone, because everyone else is saying, she's nowhere near it. Julie's nowhere near it. She's not doing it. She goes, we're doing it. And she was accusing me, and I went, I've had enough of this. Because the thing is, because I work in truth and from my heart, And I'm not here to convince people, but it says, you know, if you had things, and it says, and they do get fixated on a certain, and if they don't get that information, or they don't get grandma and they get granddad instead, and it's just like, ain't doing it. And when you sort of go to these mediums and you listen to the mediums and they say, oh, I've got a lady here, who can take that? Well, there's 50 people in the room, and I can tell you every single person in that room has got a lady in spirit, because there'll be their grandmother, their great-grandmother, their great-great-great-grandmother, their great-great-great-great... Everyone in the world has got a female in spirit. It may not be because your mum might go, oh, my mum's still alive. Well, it could be your granny, your great-granny, or great-great-aunt. Okay, so they go, we've got a female here. Who's got a female? Now, what will happen is people who come there to want to talk to their mother or their grandmother will immediately go, yes, I can take that female. Because they're there to talk to their mother or their daughter who's gone. So they've gone like that. So they then go, well, she passed with a pain in the heart. You know, so someone goes, oh, it must be my mum because my mum died. And someone else goes, oh, it was my mum and she had a heart attack. So straight away, the guy's going, right, okay, so maybe I'm coming to you. And then he'll say something generic, oh, she wore glasses. Or she'll say something like she was, she had a little stoop or something like that. You know, and so on, and so eventually, and then oh, it's mine. And they go, oh yes, and you know, and then they start getting, and then what happens? That person gives them information. Yeah, mum died of a heart attack. She was in hospital. He goes, yeah, I can. He goes, yes, I can smell the hospital smell around her. Yeah, that's her. She goes, oh yes, it must be mum because you're saying you smelt the hospital and there was the hospital, and it's like, for fuck's sake. How fake is that? Now, if I'm working, I will go to the audience and I will go, hello, can I come to you? And I will go to that person and I go, right, you, so I'm actually there. I'm not going who I've got. I'll go, I will come to you. And then I will say, I have, and then depending on whether it's the left or the right, the male or female, because they come in either side, so how I work, and then it's like da-da-da, and then I start saying, right, and I said, what I want to do is I'm going to give you, and I don't go, oh, I've got a man and he's got glasses. I come round and I go, oh, he liked to have his beard, didn't he? And then I said, and he drove his red car, and I go straight in with the evidence. Not, oh, how did he die? How did this? I go straight in with the evidence. And I say to the spirit guy, I go, show me your car, show me your workplace, show me this, show me that. So I can give evidence straight off. And then I go, right. And rather than going, oh, he's giving me an initial of G, was it a J, or is it an L, or is it an I? Is it L or an I? I can't tell whether it's a dotted I or that. So I go, he's given me the name of Bump. He's given me that. And that way, when someone comes to you and they give you the evidence, you know you're dealing with someone who is honest. Now, there are loads of people out there who fake it and make it and stuff like that. You hear about, and I'm not here to slag off some famous people, because everyone can be psychic. We can all be psychic. We can all be readers. We can all do this. But it's just like we can all run, but some of us practice and can run in 10 seconds like Usain Bolt. And then there's me, who can run for 1 second, wets herself and dies and needs her inhaler. But I can run, because if one of my little grandchildren suddenly decide to disappear and going to go across the road, I can run and grab them. But I'm not Usain Bolt, but we can all run, we can all read, we can do that. But anyone can do reading cards, anyone can do psychic stuff. You can all do, I mean, you've all had that intuition, you know, that, oh, so-and-so's about to ring me, pick up the phone and stuff. So we've all got the skills, and it's just whether you want to be open to it and practice it. And how do you know whether you've got a fake reader? Now, I put a post up today, some tips to find and make sure you're connecting with the right reader. And how do you check you've got the right reader? How do you know you've got the correct reader? Whatever. Well, number one, recommendation. Recommendation. You know, you go to your friends. Have you had a reading? Who can you recommend? You know, do you know anyone who can do a reading? That's the recommend. And someone might go, yeah, but don't go to them. They're rubbish. Don't go to them. or go to that person. They were really, really good. They were spot on, Julie-Sian. Otherwise, check them out. When you go onto TikTok, good old TikTok, you see these people on TikTok and they go, oh yes, I'm going to do you a card and stuff like that. And I tell you what, come to me. And I know someone on TikTok, and what he does is he connects with people for a reading, and then people pay for a reading and they go, oh, he's really good, and he's very knowledgeable, and he comes up with all the stuff. And he got caught out, and what he was doing was he was finding out who they are. What he then says, look, I will talk to you face to face on Facebook Messenger. Tell me who you are and we can become friends. And what he was doing was becoming friends with the person. And then what they were doing is they were looking through their Facebook page, and people put loads of stuff on their Facebook page. Loads of stuff. You'd be interested to know what people put on what they eat. And you can find out what they eat, where they live, what jobs they do, whether they're in a relationship or not in a relationship, who's chipped them off and things like that. People put all sorts of things on Facebook. Oh yes. So they do, this guy he was doing, and he had people who goes and looks at, and then he says, right, we're here. Hello, I'm here to do this reading for you. And he's got all the information already. And he got caught out by doing this because he looked at he got some old information and stuff, and started talking about a dead mum and stuff, and she goes, mum's still alive, and jobs and things like that, and suddenly realised that he picked up the wrong Facebook profile or the wrong information and so on and so forth. But yeah, and that's what they do. Some of these people, or they take the money and then they don't do the reading. That's another one. Pay me. Or the best one is when you've got I have it sometimes here. You're doing the reading, and then someone will hijack it, and they will come in and they'll be, don't know who it is, and they'll go, hi, it'd be from Keanu Reeves. Hi, Suzanne. He'll private message you, or under here, he's got your name there, and they'll come in and they go, it'd be Keanu Reeves. Hi, Suzanne. I love your energy. I've got a special message for me. Inbox me and I will give you that message. Or the other one is, oh, you've got a spirit attached to you. Message me and I will tell you who it is and how to release it, because it's a negative energy. Don't you just love it when they jump on and do things like that? If someone just inputs you, I have people messages me direct, don't know who they are. Hello there, I have a message for you. It's only $100 and I will give it to you for $100. The English is atrocious. Never do that, private message you. But how do you know? So go for a referral. And if someone says, yeah, go with them, they're good, great. If someone doesn't refer them, or they go, no, don't go with them, they're completely mad and bonkers. I've had both of those, yeah. Jumped on, yeah. What I do is I go through my lives afterwards when it's a replay, and I try and delete, and if anyone is, I sort of message you back and go, don't click these leads. No, most of the people join me, no, not to click the thing or reply, because it's fake. It's fake, absolutely. It's like our lovely Keanu Reeves, who popped on and said hello. Hello, Keanu. Lovely that these famous stars want to jump on my lives. I'm so blessed and honoured. Not, thank you. It just means someone else popped on and the logarithms go, you've got a message. Excellent. Thank you. Love it. Check them out. See if they've got a website. Have I got a website? I've got a website. I've got a couple, actually. I've got Reiki Teddy as well. Reiki Teddy's got his own website. I've got Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I'm on TikTok. I've got YouTube. Check them out. Okay. Oh no. Oh no. Off yours, Lola. Yeah. So check them out. Have a look and see what Facebook page. Go on Google. I am on Google. Google your business, and you can see where you can actually find out where I live. Oops. And see if there's any reviews on there. Do your diligence. If they're like me and you come and catch my live, do you like my vibe? Now, I do swear, Absolutely, I do have a sailor's mouth, and I admit it, I do have a sailor's mouth. And if you don't like my vibe, or don't connect with my vibe, don't like my straight talking, don't like me because I don't wrap things up in bubble wrap. I do not do bubble wrapping. I kick people up their arse in my soft fluffy slippers. I do swear. Now, if you don't want the truth, you don't want someone who doesn't swear, someone who doesn't, don't come with me. Okay? If you don't like my energy, and this is when I go to mind, body, spirit shows. Now, there's a big thing up in London, and I'm still humming and hawing, and I would think I might go. There's a big 4-day event going up at Olympia this weekend. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Carl Gray is there on Friday, and I think Barbara Mickledon, and Flavia Phillip are there. Flavia, my friend, I can't remember who's the fairy lady. Well, lady's a fairy lady, and I can't remember her name. She's there talking on Sunday. They got quite a lot of people. It's a 4-day event up in Olympia. When I go to little mind, body, spirit shows, you know, the ones that put in your village hall, and it's on a Sunday, and you go along, and there's like 7 readers sitting around the hall. What I always do, because I think, yeah, I'll have a reading, and my daughter says, oh, I'll have a reading. Mum, you never give me a reading. And I said, it's because I'm your daughter, I'm your mother. And I know too much. I don't like, if I know someone, I don't like doing readings for people I know, because then it's like, I know too much and I know what you need to hear. So I prefer to do readings for people I don't really know. I was in London. I know, it's at Olympia, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Yeah, I think it's about 200. There's loads of talks going on. There's yoga area and all sorts of things. Come back. It's Olympia. If you type it in, like I said, Carl Gray's tomorrow, but I've done a workshop with him. He's amazing. If you get to see him or go on a workshop with Carl Gray, he doesn't do them very often. He's amazing. He does swing from the other side of the bat, and he's gorgeous. But he gives the most beautiful hugs, and he's got the most amazing aftershave. I know, it's okay. I'm old enough to be his mother, and I know he swings from the other bat, but it's a beautiful hug, and his aftershave is gorgeous. So, what are we going to say? So yeah, so I walk around going these shows, mind, body, spirit shows, and I think, yeah, I'm going to have a reading. But what I do when I first arrive, I always walk around the room, and people go, hello, do you want a reading? I went, in a minute. And what I do is I walk around and I sort of pick up on their energy. And sometimes I'm fine. And so there's like 7 or 8 readers there. I will smile and hello and how's it going, and you know, what you're up to and stuff like that. I very rarely let them know that I'm a reader myself. I never let people know that I'm a reader. Very rarely do I let them know, because I don't like people telling me, because then it goes, oh my god, am I on show? Oh my god, you know, they know what they're doing. Oh, nerves. Please don't tell me you're a reader, because it's like it puts me on edge. So I don't tell them I'm a reader, and I go around the room. And I feel the vibe. He is. Met him as well. Oh, you've met him. I know. Great hugs. Nice aftershave. Swings from the wrong side. I'm old enough to be his mother. But one can dream. I dreamt of him a couple of days ago. I actually dreamt of him a couple of days ago. Not like that, but we were doing an event together. I dreamt that he and I were doing an event together. Yeah. It must have been because I've been looking at Mind, Body, Spirit show. But I actually dreamt of it. It's not the first time I dreamt of him, actually. Let's go the other side. And I walk around the room, and I sort of see which of the readers I feel a vibe to, which I feel connected to. And sometimes I just go, and sometimes I get connected with a couple. So I then go up and talk to them. You know, go, hello, oh, have you got some vacancies? What are you charging today? It's nothing to do with the price, but it's like I'm talking to them to see their energy. And then I go to the other and I went, I might do. I said, I'm thinking of having a reading. I'll come back in a minute. I see you've got some gaps. Excellent. Because I usually try and get there early in the morning. So I then plan, because there's talks and things I want to see and do. And then I go to the other person. Oh, how are you doing? You know, I'm thinking. And then I walk around the room and then I make a decision. Who am I drawn to? And then I go to that person. But it's the energy, what I'm drawn to. And this is so important. When you're connecting, and whether you want to have a reading from someone, you want to have some spiritual mentoring, if you ever want to work with anyone, go with the energy and see what it is. Lives in an hour for me too. Lives in, oh, you're up in Scotland. Oh, Scotland. Oh, I have a new body of Scotland. A bit of haggis. Unless you're on the south border. Oh, do you know where he lives? Let's go and hang out. He's not there, actually. I think he's on his way down to London. I think he's in London. He should be. Well, I don't know. Not that I follow him, but you know what I mean. Ooh, love it. Absolutely, yeah. So yeah, and I'm going to my lovely Carl Gray. Yeah, absolutely. I've got quite a lot of his decks. I've got his books. I've got his decks. He's really knowledgeable about his angels. Karen Kay. Karen Kay is the fairy lady. Karen Kay. Karen Kay is the lady. I was trying to think what her name is. I've known her for years. I knew her even before she stepped into fairy. She used to run, or still, the fairy festivals, and she runs fairy balls. I've known her for years, and I was so excited when I discovered she got her own fairy deck. I've actually got it, and she's lovely. But she's doing, I think she's doing Sunday her talk. And there's Barbara Mickleton John. I can't remember now. She's amazing. I bought my first drum off her. Flavia Peters. She's into fairies as well. Yeah. Okay. So, like I said, how do you know? Well, get referrals. Check them out on Facebook, on the website. Look at their own Google reviews. So you get referral. Check them out. Reviews. And yeah. And then feel their vibe. And if you feel the vibe connects with you, then go for the reading. Go for the, full-blown reading. Go and work with them as a mentor. Go work with them for guidance. Go work with them if you feel right. And sometimes, though, what you do, you'll be working with one person now, and maybe in a year's time, because they then help your vibration, you may go and start working with someone else. And then you go and work with someone else and work with someone else. Now, I did a lot of work with Karen Kay right early days when we were setting up and things like that. But because she's gone, that side, and I go, with dragons and things like that, and because I've gone more mentoring and stuff, we sort of part of it. But there's certain people, you jive and you do, and it's like your whole life. There's very few people who your best friend, when you were 5 years old, are still with your best friend, 50, 60 years later. Are you still with that best friend from when you were 5 years old? You go from places, when you go from workplaces, you're working in work and you have friends there, but and they go, oh, we'll stay in touch, we stay in touch, bullshit to that. You go and work somewhere else, or you go and move away and you don't stay in touch, and you move on, and people come and go in your life for a reason. And that is not just for friends. It's with work colleagues, it's with your spiritual advisors, your spiritual guides, and so on and so forth. And sometimes, you work with someone, and it's like, yeah, and your vibration, and then you move on, and they move on, and that's okay. And I have clients who come to me and then go, and then they've moved away, or we lose track and stuff. But that's fine. Let them go with love and light. And if someone says, oh, it's like when we go for a nail technician and stuff. Just because you go one place for your nails, and then you go and you suddenly go, oh, I want my nails done, and your normal technician can't book you in, so you go somewhere else and they do your nails for you. They then get upset. Oh, you went somewhere else. And I go, well, I wanted my nails done. You were fully booked. I needed them done because I was going to a wedding tomorrow. You couldn't, so I had to go somewhere else. And they get really up. Oh, you're going to someone else to get your hair done. I'm not exclusive. And it's the same with my clients. If they want to have readings elsewhere, I let them go for elsewhere, because what they get from me is they get something from someone else. They get a different one, because we will work in a different way. So if you like the odd swear word, the kick up the arse with the soft fluffy feathers, you like things that are not bubble wrapped and the truth is told to you, then come and work with me. Otherwise, right, Suzanne. Oh, hang on, before I do this, I have to do this, Suzanne. I am doing this in the UK, so I need to do my disclaimer, otherwise I will be in trouble with the UK law. I am not allowed to do I'm allowed to do some readings. I'm not allowed to give legal advice, medical advice, or financial advice. I'm not allowed to give pregnancy advice or health advice. This is classed as entertainment purposes over. As I am doing tarot cards, I prefer you to be over 18. Are you over 18, Suzanne? And if you're under 18, you do need parental consent, and parent needs to be there throughout the reading. It's for entertainment purposes only. I have to state that because it's a legal application. And if you ever go anywhere and no one says that, or I used to have it on the side when they had their bit, you know, do you want your reading at 10 o'clock, 10:30, 11, 11:30? I then had I put the disclaimer, you know, this is da da da, and then I put that when you sign your name to book you want your reading at 10 o'clock, you're also signing that you've read the disclaimer that I can't give you this advice or this, and it's for entertainment purposes. And you will find that a lot of people who do that when you go to the fairs, you go, why have they got this bit of writing? Because it's a legality to cover you, because legally we have to say that in the UK. I don't know what the rules are about other countries. Well, I also want to know. Did you know that ear candling is illegal in Canada, because they don't accept ear candling? I love ear candling. It's one of my favourite treatments I offer people. I haven't done it for ages. Can't do it in Canada. But I've used this information. And even though I'm a fully qualified masseur therapist, I can't work in America because I haven't done their training. But American massage therapists can work in this country. You know that. Use this information. But our training is better than the American training. Just to let you know. Not that I want to knock the Americans, of course. Not far over. Oh, you're 18 and a half. Bless you, Suzanne. The deck I'm using is Angel Tarot by Radley Valentine. Let's do Suzanne's card. Thank you for sticking around while I do my more talking and stuff. Okay. So, Suzanne. Oh, I should have said to you, what question do you want? Because what I do is I'm asking people to, and I forgot to do it tonight, but I'll just read this for you. Because usually what happens, they do a general reading as well. Oh, I've got a card and this means blah, 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 blah. And it's general. And what I like to do is on these lives is to try and get it more specific to your needs. But I forgot to ask you what your specific need is. But we got life experience. Card number 16, life experience. And it's Archangel Shamel. I don't really know much about Archangel Shamel. Shamel! Not sure about Archangel. I have to do a little Googling on that. A significant life event. Right, life experience. This is the tarot card. And it's temperance. It's like reflecting back, on your life. What worked, what didn't work? What worked, what didn't work? What went on? What information can you take? And it's like, well, it didn't work that way, so I ain't going to do it again, and it will never happen again. It says, a significant life event, a powerful revelation that leads to change, time to spread your wings. It's time to go for it, Suzanne. Maybe it's time to leave to Scotland and come to England, or maybe it's time to leave the UK, get out here and go and live on a desert island. And go, yay, I'm free! And run around the island naked and go, woo, I'm free! I'm on one today. Let me drink a bit of more water. It's because I've been thinking about Carl Gray. Okay, time to spread your wings. What story are you telling yourself from your life experience, all that you've been told, all that you've been living through? What is telling you that you can't do something? And this is like telling you about what story are you telling yourself, Suzanne, that you are validating why you aren't doing something. Like, I would love to be an accountant. Yeah, because I love it. But I haven't got the qualifications, therefore I can't be an accountant, so I have to be as a cashier outside Tesco's. Yeah, is the fact. However, why not go and do the qualifications now? And do the qualification and train to be an accountant now. Oh, I never had the opportunity there. Yeah, but you've got the opportunity now. Look at all the courses you can do online. I did live in Peterborough for 10 years. Oh, that's not far from Northampton. It's about an hour up the road from us. Up the road to the right, Peterborough. No wonder you... I don't blame you going up to Scotland, Bonnie, Scotland. If you lived in Peterborough for 10 years, I don't blame you. I'd want to leave the Peter... No offence, God, I'm going to have all the people from Peterborough jump on me and go for me. Okay, so what stories or life events that you've happened to you that you still refrain back and going, I'm not going to do this. It's like, when I was at school, I tried to get into the school hockey team, and the teacher there said I wasn't any good, so even though you love doing it, you never made the team, so I'm never going to play hockey again. However, if you go to your local village ladies hockey team today, 10 years later, and go knocking on the door, they will take you they go, yeah, come, join us, we want you in your team. But all these years you were told that you thought because you weren't good enough, and because of this one teacher who said you weren't good enough in their eyes to join the team. However, Just imagine if you changed schools that next year and changed schools and went up to that teacher and the new hockey teacher may have taken you in there. Just on that one opinion of one person can affect you, and you take it to heart. And this is what happens when you have 100 people there. 99 go, you can do it, but because one person says no, you listen to that one person down. So what one life experience is the story that you're telling yourself is that you're using to validate why you aren't spreading your wings and going for it. What is it that you really want to do, Suzanne? Where is it? Where do you want to go? What is it you want to do? And what is the story? I'm too old. I'm too ill. I'm too decrepit. I haven't got the money. I haven't got the... What is it? What is it that you want to do? Yeah, you might go, well, actually, Julie, I really want to be an astronaut. And, yeah? Well, see how you can be a modern day astronaut, you know? What is it about the job of being an astronaut? Well, it's the freedom going up in space. Well, maybe do some astrology and, you know, I don't know. But there's other ways. It's like I had a client and she said she wanted to be a nurse. And so we said, well, what does a nurse do? She takes care of people. I go, well, how can we take care of people? Oh, like a carer. So I said, well, why don't you go and do a bit of caring work? Get some work experience, because you hadn't, and while you're doing that, getting experience, and then we can get you onto the training courses to become a nurse. So she went off and thought, yeah, that's a good idea, because I said, you know, you want to be a nurse, but you've never done any caring work. How do you know that it's what you really want? You just saw it on, you know, you see the films and you see all this, oh wow, look at that person is saving that life, I want to do that. And I go, well, do you want to carry around sick and poo and things like that? So she went and did her training, and she went and did this care, and she loves it, and she's actually staying as a carer, and she's doing really well. Always doubting myself. Why? Is it because you think that you're not good enough? And is it somewhere where you think you're not good enough because something happened? I will use I like to use my own examples. When I was a child and I couldn't read my name until I was read and write my name until I was 7, and whenever I did anything, it was always covered in red. So I always thought I couldn't write. I'm no good at writing, because the thing is what happens is I used to give all my work in, and the teacher never said about the quality of the work. They always focus on bad spelling, can't spell this. And I went, well, what about, you know, the quality of the work, you know? Well, you know, it's just I couldn't read, you know. So that, and if I listened to those people, I would never have written my book. Because I could have doubted myself, and I thought, oh, well, I couldn't write my name until I was 7. You know, I only got a C grade in English. I took my English literature twice. First time I got an E, the second time I got a failure. And here I am, written 2 books and got my own card deck. And it's like always doubting myself. Why? Because, you know, you doubt yourself. You go, well, you know, everyone else could write their name. Why can't I write my name? You know, I'm not good enough. You know, I tried and tried, no matter how hard. I could never lace it together. You've got to learn this poem. Couldn't learn the poems. I tried the poems, couldn't remember anything. But you know what? And I always just squeezed through with a grade C in my exams. I then went into training to do massage, and I came back with distinction. Distinctions! And there was me thinking I was below average, was no good. But then when I found something I excelled in, I was getting distinction and doubted myself. And the thing is, it's like down because we compare ourselves to other people. And people think, oh, Julie, I can never be a reader like you. Well, I can tell you that when I started this 30 years ago, I came across my first reading and I thought, oh my God, they're amazing. I could never do that. And she introduced me to this deck. This is like 30 years old. And it was like, that's a deck. And she goes, just play around with it. How do you do it? And things like that. And here I am writing a book about connecting with the zodiac, with the tarot and oracle cards. I mean, who would have said that? But yeah, because we've had experiences in our life that caused us to doubt ourselves. But the thing is, there's one thing that I don't doubt about it, because you have managed to survive every single day of your life. No matter what's being thrown at you from the moment you took your first breath to now, you've done amazing. But you've got to stop comparing yourself. And the only person you need to compare yourself is yourself. And if you say at the end of the day, I did my best, doesn't matter if your best is not good enough for anyone else. Because no matter what we did, even if you have someone and your best was 1,000,000%, you did everything perfect, you would still doubt yourself. And they would still think you're not good enough. And so what? I do that way too much, compare myself. Yeah, and the only person you should compare yourself is to yourself, and say to yourself, did I do the best I did today? And you know what? Actually, I could have done a bit better. Could have done, because I spent too much long playing games on my phone today. I got distracted with TikTok. That's my excuse. But I've done some more. So compare myself, and I do that. I also compare myself with other men, and I go, oh my god, they're so knowledgeable. And then, you know, you might compare me, and you might say, Julie, yeah, I do readings, but I'm not as good as you. And I went, you know what? I have off days. I have clients, and they go, no, don't resonate with it at all. And I go, well, that's fine. Maybe we're not connecting, or maybe you're not open to what we're being told. And half the time it's they're just not open to what's being told. And that's fine, because they're not ready to do the shift. Comparing yourself, who do you compare yourself to? What is it that you want to do? And what are you comparing yourself to? That's why you're not going to do it. So let's share. What is it that you want to do? And you're comparing yourself, and because you don't think you're good enough, you're not doing it. So maybe you want to write a book. Maybe that's what you want to do. But then you look at other people. Well, I tell you what, this is full of spelling mistakes. But you know what? The gist of the thing is all right. Yeah, but it's still published. I don't care. You know, I might resubmit the script again when correct your spelling. But what is it that you're comparing yourself? Because I do that, and I think, oh, she's so confident. Oh, look at her. She's so beautiful. Oh, look at that. Or why isn't my marriage failed? Why is I and he's now remarried, and it's like, well, he's a dickhead, and I'm so glad I'm not with him. So what is it? That you compare yourself, and because you're comparing, but you've got to remember that your life experience is completely different to anyone. And even if you're a twin or a triplet, say you're a triplet, you're all going to have different life experiences. And even twins and triplets compare each other with each other, and you shouldn't do that, because you all have different life experiences. So just because someone seems to be further along the journey than what you are, just remember they started a week before you, a year before you. This is when you go to someone who's a teacher, and a teacher only knows a little bit more than what you are. They're sharing their knowledge with you, and then they go and learn something else from another teacher, and that teacher shares them with you, and you've got a line. And it's like, right, well, I want to be like that teacher. We'll learn everything, and then that teacher will have moved on, and then move on. And that's all it is that's your downfall. And you've noticed it. So what you're going to do now is going to go, every single moment I start comparing myself, say to yourself, and see if you can catch yourself. This comparing. Catch yourself when you doubt yourself and go, no, I can do it. Because as I survived this up until today, I survived myself up until the 22nd of May, and touch wood, I haven't really upset that many people, and if I have, they can either tell me to my face, and if not, why not? I'm not that dragon lady. I don't think so, And ask yourself, but the reason you do that is you're doubting yourself and comparing yourself, and that is a story that you're telling yourself is stopping you from going on. And that is I'm always comparing myself with someone else, and because they're better, I perceive them to be better than me, I ain't doing it. I'm comparing because they're not falling flat on their face, but I might do that, or compare myself to someone else. But you've got to remember, they're on a different journey to what you are. They've got different life experience. Even if you're a twin or a triplet or a quin, you're all going to have different life experiences. And it's just like, you do it, now you acknowledge it, so stop comparing yourself with other people, and just go, you know what, I can do this. Because your outcome is going to be your own personal outcome, not theirs. It does hold me back. Let's book a mentoring session, and let's get this mindset, do some mindset work around it. And it's holding you back, this comparison. And the thing is, but you're using that as a story to hold yourself back. Because you want to go for, what is it that you want to do? Be honest. If you want to be truthful and share it now, unless it's something you don't think you can share, what is it that you want to do? What is it that you really want? What is your why? What is it that you really want? And it doesn't matter how big or how silly it is. You know, I had a dream and I wanted to create my deck of cards, and my brother was going, what do you want to do that for? And I go, well, because it's something I want to do. I want to do. Oh, you're never... I said, I'm not doing this card deck to make millions of pounds. I'm not doing this card deck to become rich and famous. I'm not doing it because I said it's something I've always wanted to do. I love working with the fairies. I've channeled these messages with them, and it's just something I've always wanted to do because I thought if they got a card deck, I want to do one. But it's nothing to do, and I did it. And all the time there was from them going, oh, what are you going to do? And then it's, why do you want to write a book? Well, it's something I've always wanted to do as a little girl. I love books, even though I couldn't read them. So what is it that you want to do? What is it you want to do? It doesn't matter if you... Maybe you want to chuck everything in, buy a motorhome and go around the world. What is it that you want to do? I don't know. Maybe you want to be an artist. Maybe you want to be a dancer, a painter. Maybe you want to be a pianist, you know. And yeah, none of us can be like Lang Lang. Well, some of us can be like Yang Lang, and there's some amazing young kids, but only because it's there. So what is it, if you want to share what you want to do that's holding you back, what is it that you want to do? There's got to be something that you want, and this is anyone else here. What is it you want to do? Tell me. And then, you know, maybe we'll work on it. Maybe we need to book a session, a one-to-one session. Because sometimes people don't want to share. Who else is on here and would like a card? Let me know. Let me know. But yeah, and it is our life experience because it's holding us back, because we look at up and we go, oh, look at their life. Oh, they've got this really big house. They've got this money. But you bet they've got a big mortgage and they may be in debt. And a lot of these people have got massive mortgages, and their car, they don't own the car, they pay their car monthly. How many people, well, I do, because I bought my car outright because of circumstances, couldn't get a loan, so I paid it. So I do own my own car. My daughter pays her car monthly, my son pays for monthly, my friends over the road, their cars are all paid monthly. And they look at these things and you think, oh, what a nice car, but they haven't bought it outright. Mine is a little old banger. Yeah, 500 quid. Yeah, of course I can pay that outright. Oh dear. You know, and they go, oh, you know, you got a nice flat. I rent it. I don't own it. I rent it. You know, and they go, oh, you're out travelling again. Well, I go and stay in caravans. It's nice and cheap. And then I spend my money on the experiences instead. Read my cards and develop my mediumship. Move out of this house and into a new area. Oh! Wow! I love that! And develop my mediumship. Right. So, first of all, have you got a local circle you can join? Google psychic circles. There are lots of online psychic circles you can do. I know when I did it. So I think I know who runs this online. I got a friend who runs an online psychic circle, and she does it on Zoom. So, okay, read your cards. Do you have a card deck? Do you have my card deck? Do you have my card deck? Get an oracle deck. You don't need to go straight into tarot. Tarot is a bit overwhelming and stuff like that, and that's why I use the angel one. I don't like the Rider-Waite deck. Never could get on with it. Couldn't get on with it. It put me off. Put me off for years. And then someone introduced me to this deck, and as soon as they introduced me to this deck, off I went. I went, oh, I'm loving tarot now, because it was the images, and the things, and it was just like, and the thought, you know, someone said, oh, you get the death card, you get it, and it's like not understanding the meaning of the S2, but kept doubting myself to go along. Yeah, well, you're not going to be like the Usain Bolt on the very first meeting you go to. And of course, you've got to remember, other people there have been going to the circle meeting a lot longer than you, unless it's a brand new circle and you're all complete novices. And some of you are going to pick it up quicker than others. And some of you are going to pick up certain subjects quicker than others. And some of you are going to do something, go, I hate that bit about psychic work. I ain't going to do it. And that's fine, because you've got to find your way. I have around 30 cards. Oh my God, I thought I was bad. I have about 40. In fact, the other day I did a car boot sale and I got rid of a whole load because my daughter said, you've got too many, you never look at them all. I've got about 3 or 4 moon decks, 3 or 4 dragon decks. I've got tarot decks coming out of my ears. Right, so do you do a card. You could do a different deck a day. You could do a different deck a day. So I can challenge you to do a deck a day for the next 30 days and just pick a card. Just pick any card. And rather than, because what happens is we use our intuition. This one, trust. And just say there's a trust. Now I want you to do, don't overthink this. You don't have to do it here. There's a card, it's trust. What does that mean to you? They are very, oh my God, are they addicted? My daughter, I've got some I haven't even used. And I've got one that's still sitting in plastic. And it's been here for a year. Isn't that awful? And every time I go away, my daughter goes, no, another deck. Oh, but it says buy me. It's the green shoe syndrome. And crystals and card decks. Green, you know, the shiny object syndrome. Oh, gotta have it. Trust. Okay, don't overthink it. You see this card? Okay, oh, that's a good thing to try. And yeah, do one a deck ago. And just take a card and just go, and here's your one for the day. Trust. Trust your instinct. What comes with the word trust? Do, like, you know, if I say to you apple, what do you say? Oranges. If I say green, what do you say? Grass, you know. Say trust. What comes to you? I have that deck. This one, I know, I've had it for years. And just pick a card. You don't need to read the book, because the book is, oh, I didn't even tell you that. The book was, when Doreen Virtue created it, is how she created it. She doesn't do it anymore anyway. That's another thing. And just go trust. And just go, what is it? And then just sit there and write. So the next 30 days, pick a deck, a different deck a day. If you know it's a full moon and if you know you've got a full moon or a new moon, pick a moon deck that day. So, you know, and then just pick a card. And just go, right, and say today's card is trust, and write a few sentences. And the more you do it every day, the more you're going to trust your own instincts, and it just comes. Because I used to, when I first got these cards, my nose was constantly in the book. Constantly, I need to trust myself. Well, you can do it. I know you can do it. Maybe I ought to get you to do me a card every day for the next 30 days. Give me a card. Whatever. And take it from there. Does this help? I've done a private mentoring session with you today. That's £121, please. Send me some stars. I hope this has helped, Suzanne. I hope it's helped. Hope it helped Keanu Reeves. Thank him for joining me. You know where I am, Suzanne. If you need any help, any guidance, you know, just PM me. I'm more than happy to. And maybe just trust your instincts. Hop on a train and come down to London this weekend and go to the Mind, Body, Spirit. I don't know. Whatever. Go for it. Right. Thank you for joining me. I want to thank everyone else who joined me, popped on and on. Thank you, Julie. I'm going to do that. Absolutely. Absolutely. And yeah, let me know how it goes. What? Send me the £121? No, joking. Send me some stars. I hope today's helped. Bit of guidance on how to pick a person, how to read a book, and cards, and yeah. And have a fab weekend, bank holiday Monday, and I will hopefully do Tuesday live next week, 6 o'clock. Take care, have a fab weekend, take care, namaste. Bye, 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 bye.